What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. You may be wondering why I'm standing here with this saw. And that's because I'm going to be building a fish tank stand for my 10-gallon tall aquarium, and that is because of one reason and one reason only. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Like, my arm barely fits, and I don't even know if I would constitute this as fitting because, like, yeah, I don't know. Just imagine me trying to do maintenance in this tank like once a week. It's just not going to happen realistically, and I would like to keep this tank longer than a couple months. So the stand's probably going to go in the corner over there. So this tank is still going to stay in this room, but I needed a better option so that way I could easily access the tank for maintenance. So with the explanation out of the way, we can go ahead and get going to Lowe's, and then we can get started on building the stand. Please enjoy these next few clips where I try my best not to feel as incredibly awkward as I look while shooting in public and trying to film a vlog-like video at a Home Depot. The first thing that I grabbed was a 1x4, and this isn't necessary, it's just to add a little bit of trim to dress up the stand itself. Next I grabbed 4 2x4s, and I grabbed an extra one just in case I made any bad cuts. Next, I needed to grab a rolling paintbrush in order to paint the stain. And then last, I needed some 3.5-inch nails to be able to attach the legs to the frame of the stand. And with all of my items in hand, it was finally time to go home and get everything ready to start building this stand. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure out 4 pieces at 26 inches, and those are just going to be our legs. And then I'll make a couple more measurements, and then we can get cutting. Okay, ready for the first cut. Only like 10 more cuts to go. So I just finished cutting all of the legs, and now I'm going to be cutting these side pieces, and these ones I'm going to be cutting at 45-degree angles so that way they like line up nicely at a 90-degree. But yes, you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about in just a second. I have to say, these 45-degree angle cuts were giving me a harder time than I would like to admit. It was actually a little bit frustrating. I kept cutting them either the same direction, or I would cut it just a little too short, and so yeah, definitely a good thing that I decided to get an extra piece of wood. Finally, as you can see, I was able to get the square to line up nicely for the frame, and then next I needed to add a couple more braces, and they're going to be going across like this, right in between here at the top, so yeah, just 2 more cuts to go. So everything was going well until I realized that the battery for the drill was not charged. That was my fault. So I decided not to let that stop me from getting my work done, and I decided to stain while I waited for the battery to finish charging. This is the exact same stand that I used on my last fish tank stand. If you haven't seen the video, I will link it down below in the description so you can see how I built that one. But yeah, I'm just using the same stain because I wanted it to match. But let me know down in the comments if you guys have any experience with building like DIY type fish stands yourself, because I have found that I get like super excited in the build up and lead up to making it, and then like halfway through the project I'm so over it and just ready for it to be done. So yeah, let me know if this is also a common experience that you guys have had as well. And by the time I was done staining, the drill was very much charged.
Oh my god.
I'm adding this middle piece here to make the frame a little bit stronger, and now that that's added, I can go ahead and start putting the legs on, and I'm going to be using 3.5-inch screws just because I want to make sure that I get all the way through the wood. I'm also drilling holes before I add the screws so that way I do not split the wood, because yeah, don't want to ruin all of this work after all of the hours I've already been putting into this project. The last thing that I had to do was measure out and cut all of the pieces for my trim, and then I could go ahead and add those onto the frame. So it was starting to get dark outside, even though it doesn't really look like it on camera, so I had to hurry and finish the remainder of the stain because I really wanted it to dry before going in my garage, at least a little bit, so that way it didn't smell too bad before the sun set. With the stain finally complete, I was able to screw on the lid, and I also went over the screws with some more stain just so that way they wouldn't be as visible. So it is the next day. I wasn't able to finish the outro yesterday just because it got dark, and then also my mic died. But as you can see, the stand is done now. And I've got to say, I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. I am by no means any sort of carpenter or anything like that, but I did have a lot of fun with this, and I do think this is a design that any of you guys could replicate at home. And I like that I was able to kind of match the original stand that my wife built over here. So yeah, just super happy and pleased with how it came out. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video. In the next one, I'm going to be doing a full update on this tank right here, as well as getting some fish. So make sure you guys subscribe because it's going to be a fun video. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.